Now this afternoon we are there for two reasons. We started sometime in 2017, we started a sewing program and that was done because the young mothers in Tete Morne felt they needed to be empowered. And in discussion with them, they felt sewing was one of the areas of interest that they had. And so we ran that program last year. So this afternoon, what we will do is just do the closing of this program. And again, in consultation with some of the young people in Tete Morne, they decided that they wanted to continue the program, because even when we started the program, they thought there were other areas that they had interest in. And so they've spoken in discussion with Ms. Coffee. They've decided that they want to do some other programs. And this afternoon, what we will be doing is launch the program to start it off. So we're killing two birds with one stone. So we are closing on one and we are opening. So it's continued empowerment of the young people of Tete Morne, Montine and Grand Colibri. For me, again, as the parliamentary representative, it's a pleasure to be here with you this afternoon to share just a few remarks on what I think is a very timely and important venture. Very often when things happen small at those levels, people do not recognize it as important. But I think all of the programs that we are speaking about this afternoon came about as a result of consultation with all of you who are here. It was the initial sewing program, for example, started when we had a meeting of young mothers. And at that meeting, we wanted to know I wanted to know as a PAL rep, what can be done to empower you? What would you like to learn? What would you like to do so that you can do it and earn a living? I always say to people, no government across the globe can employ everybody. And no matter what, every skill in life is important. There are some of us who work in offices. There are some of us who work in the health field, in teaching, in the police, in all other aspects, the public service, private sector. People work in different areas. But some of us are not as fortunate, maybe not as qualified as some. Some of us have qualification, but still want to learn a skill. Because learning a skill is never too much. And learning one skill or two skills, you need to continue. As many skills as you can learn, it is to your advantage. Because gone are the days, in fact, we should never put all our eggs in one basket. You may be a teacher, but God forbid something happens and you leave this teaching profession, what else can you cling on to? For certain reasons, you have allergy to dust, you have allergic to, certain things at the schools that you might have to leave the job. But at the time, you cannot get something to do. Or even if you are a teacher, you will say, you know what, the salary can only do so much for me. And so, if I can do something else to bring in another little bit of earning, that will augment what I have and help me to take care of myself and my family better. If you are not qualified and employed otherwise, it gives you an opportunity to embrace the skill even greater so you can learn, be more diligent, spend time, take it seriously. And out of that, you can become a professional in the skill that you are going to learn. All of the people who are sewing for you and I know, that was how many of them started. By just coming and learning a little skill. And then they practice, they develop their skills, learn, ask questions, observe, and became professional. The people who are going to teach you to do cake baking and decorating, I am certain they learned that way, by going to classes, learning, and can now come back to teach. And that we have to commend them for, because very often people learn skill and remain very selfish and refuse to pass it on. So we need to commend all of those who are going to facilitate this program, because they could say, no, if I teach you, it means therefore you're going to get clients and my clientele will drop. So they could say no. But no, they think it's a good way of helping in the community, and so they are going to do it to teach you. So you need to take those things very, very seriously. Never see it as, as something that is below, at a certain level that you think, oh, it's because you didn't learn or you did not go to school, that's why that's what you're doing. No, there are people who are well qualified and do skills. And as I said, everybody cannot be a teacher. Everybody can be a nurse. Everybody cannot be an office worker. We all need clothes. We all need some, from time to time. We may have a wedding, we may have a little party, and we need a cake. Mother's Day coming up, and we may choose to make some cakes to sell. You know, make some cake, decorate them, and we sell. Easter is coming. You say, you know what? Christmas is coming. There are some people that probably will not go and bake a cake, but you say, you know, I've learned a skill. Let me bake some cakes. Let me ice it. Let me begin to advertise in the community, and you get your orders. And right there and then you make it. I did it as a nurse. I went to town and I learned to do cake baking and decorating with blenders. And then I can tell you, when I finished nursing, I was doing nursing, my RN program. When I finished at school, I come home, my sister bakes the cake, and all 1 o'clock in the morning I was icing cake. And sometimes Easter time, I do not have enough cake to sell. You see? You just make a small cake, you put your price on it. Once it is delicious, it's attractive, people will gravitate towards your business and learn. So you have to learn skills that can help to make your business viable, make it work. So to do the cake breaking and decorating, it has to be tasty, it has to be clean, the environment has to be clean. You have to want people to come to you for cakes. So you will learn, so do not take it for granted. And every time you will do something, a cake might burn once, that's fine. And second time, you might add maybe not enough butter to the sugar, you know. So, you know, you might find liquor, and sometimes you have to move it. It depends on who your clientele is. If you have a diabetic, she'll tell you, I want a cake, you know, but you can put sugar, not too much sugar. You know, somebody will tell you, I want a fruit cake. Somebody will tell you, I want a carrot cake, because, you know, everybody have their taste. So you have to learn and you have to be innovative. You have to find ways to make your things attractive. When you do that, for example, the sewing. If you do the sewing, every year government purchase uniform for students. So we send all of the mothers at Astafans, we send them at ZMAT, we send them places. And one of the things we've been saying as a government and as cabinet, if we can empower people in our community to do the uniforms, instead of sending you out there, we will purchase it from somebody locally. It makes life so much easier because the mothers will come to you, you take the measurement. So you will not just go out with you at Astafans and then that's the time you measure, you cannot find one to fit, you know. So you come right in the community, do your measurement, sew the clothes, and they get their thing right there, you know. So you can start a business. You can decide you're going into sheets, you're going into what we call the nice bed linens that we have. You can go into curtains, you can go into pillowcases, you know, all of those kinds of things you can do. You can do tablecloths. You can start simple and then you develop until you are able to become professional in what you do. What is important is how dedicated you are, how much interest you show in what you are going to be taught. You know, how seriously you take it. And I can tell you, if you do it well, you will earn money. Because sometimes when you give somebody to sew and the price they ask you, you say, but wait, they make money. Because the prices are a little hot sometimes, I find, based on what they're sewing for you. So there is a market for you out there. You just have to be able to work well, develop that niche, establish your clientele so people know Miss Hazel is sewing very well, work is neat, you know, it fits well, and that is all they need to say about you. And people will gravitate towards you. So you can sew for them. So it's how well you do that. So when we started the sewing program, we ran it for 12 weeks. But there were times when, you know, the class kind of dragged a little. So we had it go longer than it was supposed to, sometimes because of illness of the facilitator, electricity, you know, various things. And here came Maria and threw us off completely. So when Maria came, we had already purchased the machines. Thank God they were safe at my home, so they did not get water or anything. So your machines are very new where they are. So we were able to secure them. And we thought, if we teach people to sew, if you do a little program, some of you probably do not have $600 and $700 and $800 to buy a machine. So we thought it would be nice that at the end of the program, we give you a machine. So whatever skill you learn, you are now going, now that we have electricity, we couldn't give it earlier because we knew after Maria, it took some time, so we didn't have lights. So I would have given it to you. You go in a house that is leaking, you're not ready for it. But now we are a little more settled and we have lights. So you can now go home with your machine, begin to plug it, remember all the things that you were taught, begin to cut paper, do your little patterns, cut your cloth, and so you develop your skill. Start at home, sew for your daughter, sew for your sister, sew for yourself. You know, those kinds of things, until you can extend that niche, and then you can go out and do well. So with your start, it would be better to empower you with a machine. So at least you are going with the tool that you need to start to work. When you start to work on your simple machine and you think you have become better, then you look for an industrial type machine, you know, where you have to sew plenty clothes and you know, those kinds of things. So you develop. Let us not take the machine and just put them at home and let it take dust there. You've learned it's not just to sew when the clothes tear. No, you're going to now remember the skill that Vernie, Mrs. Moise taught you, and then you're going to practice it at home. If you need her, feel free, because remember, I think we fell short of maybe 2 classes. If you think you want to come back, you want to cut something, you want her to come back 1 or 2 days to guide you, I am certain that she would be willing. And I want to, at this time, extend gratitude to the ministry, the minister and the permanent secretary in the Ministry of Commerce, because they partnered with me to make sure that they paid the facilitator and we had the money so we could buy the machines. So I really want to recognize the effort. Unfortunately, the minister was not able to come with us. She would have liked to be there, but because of the damages caused by the rain in her own constituency, most of cabinet members were in the north this morning looking at what has to be done. So that is why she is not there with us this afternoon. But I'm certain that she would be happy to be there. So I really want all you to remember all of that is in the Ministry of Small Business and Commerce, where they are helping you to develop your own business. As the parliamentary representative, I thought my role is to empower you, seek the resources, and make sure that it works. And here we are, closing up on our sewing program, and we are now going into cake baking and decorating, hair braiding. And when you're finished, if you take it seriously and do well, you never know what can come out of it. I am not saying we're going to give you a blender and we're going to give you a mixer, but you never know, you never know. Anything can happen. But if you take, some of you did the sewing and you are still going into the other programs, so you will be multi-skilled, multi-talented, and which is superb. So I really want to commend all of you, and you can encourage those you know that are out there, those who know you that signed up and are not here this afternoon. Encourage them to take those things seriously. So I want to pray that God continue to bless you. As the parliamentary representative, I will do anything that I can to empower you as far as humanly possible so you can be independent. I always say, let me touch that little piece. I say, as women, no hard feelings to men or no disrespect to men, but I think women should begin to empower themselves. Too often, some women sit and we rely on our boyfriends, our husband, our, that child father, my daughter's father, and sometimes some of them are very helpful, some of them are forthcoming with the help, but sometimes is like a task to get it. But you know what? When you are empowered, people respect you. People respect you. You do not have, because you can do your little sewing, because you can do your little cake decorating, you know how to manage your money. You can save a little from what you are making. You can use to buy your products so that you can continue to work. The mere fact they know you have a little savings and you're not going to depend on them totally, they respect you more. I'm telling you, they respect you more. But when you have to depend on them totally for things, it becomes a little difficult for you as women. So please begin to empower yourself. And sometimes I say, not because you're empowered that you think you are above the man. I think we're supposed to be meeting each other at some point. So if, for example, the man is doing the gardening, you're doing the sewing, he may bring in $5, you bring in $4. That is $9. So things can work, you see. So you have to complement each other in the family. So I want to really ask you to take it seriously and make it work. Nobody can make it work for you but yourself.
This afternoon's program is, as Mrs. Charles indicated, is a beginning of, or rather the extension of women empowerment. It's an opportunity for young persons like yourself to prove your self-worth, to learn a skill that will enable you to provide, to generate an income in order to provide for yourself and your family. We are going to look at 3 areas for this program. We are looking at hair braiding, we are looking at weaving, and we are also looking at cake baking and decorating. Some of you have already indicated that you are interested in other areas. So at the end of this program, we are hoping that we can continue with another set of skills. You have highlighted the area of manicure and pedicure, and I think some persons has already signed up for this program. So this program is supposed to take place over a duration of 3 months. Each skill area you will be trained and you will meet each other once a week. Your facilitators, unfortunately, are not here this afternoon. It would have been nice that they would be here so you could see who they are, mingle with them, and have an understanding as to what you're going to do. However, we know that training involves an aspect of certification. So at the end of the 3 months, it is hoped that you would be provided with a certificate that can get you employed elsewhere or can help you be respected in the area or in the profession you are trained in. So if you decide to work with somebody, for example, if you are doing hair braiding and weaving and you decide to work in a salon, you can provide that certificate, which is authentic, and then you will be able to be regarded as a certified hair braider. Some of you may want to open your own businesses. So at the end of the 3 months, we are hoping to provide business management sessions for you. And if you get to a point that you recognize that, hey, I really want my own business, we will hopefully provide some form of assistance for you to start your own business. So it's really an opportunity that I would want you to grab and take advantage of it, because these opportunities don't come in often. It's an opportunity for you to be independent. It's an opportunity for you to develop yourself. But most importantly, it's an opportunity to learn something so that you can have a skill to make some money, to generate an income, to provide for yourself, to provide for your family without depending on others to do so for you.